Most people with $3 million saved are wrong about what that money produces in monthly income. By $2,000 to $3,000 every single month for the rest of their retirement. The number in your head is the gross number, the number that actually hits your checking account after taxes, after Medicare surcharges, after inflation does its work. That number is dramatically lower, and almost no retirement plan I see accounts for it correctly. I'm Ryan Knoll, founder of Nav Wealth. We help people with $2 to $5 million navigate the last decade before retirement and the first decade inside of it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the real monthly income $3 million produces and the 3 decisions that determine whether that number goes up or down by 6 figures over your retirement. Start with the gross number. A $3 million portfolio at the standard 4% withdrawal rate produces $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month. That's the number in most people's heads. Now let's apply 3 different forces. Force 1, tax drag. Take a couple, both 67, who want to spend $20,000 a month in retirement. Call it a paid off house, 2 cars, regular travel, and the kind of lifestyle $3 million is supposed to buy. They have a small pension paying $5,000 a month and Social Security at full retirement age paying $7,000 a month combined. Add the $10,000 monthly portfolio withdrawal and they're at $22,000 pre-tax. So far, so good. Except $22,000 pre-tax isn't $22,000 spendable. Their annual income in this instance is $264,000. And after the standard deduction and tax on the taxable portion of Social Security, they owe roughly $38,000 in federal income tax. That puts their take-home at roughly $18,800 a month, already $1,200 short of their target, and we haven't even touched their state tax bill, which depending on where they live, could take up another $500 to $1,500 off the top. That takes us to the second force, which is IRMAA surcharges. IRMAA is the Medicare premium surcharge that hits when your AGI crosses certain thresholds. For 2026, the first tier kicks in at $218,000 adjusted gross income for a married couple. Our couple's AGI lands around $251,000, well into the first tier. That adds roughly $200 a month in additional Medicare premiums for the two of them, or about $2,400 a year off of their spendable income. What most people don't realize is that IRMAA looks back 2 years. The income decisions you make at 65 determine your Medicare premium at 67, so make sure you plan accordingly. Then there's inflation erosion over 30 years. This is the silent one. $20,000 a month in today's dollars does not buy $20,000 worth of goods at age 85. At a modest 2% inflation rate, the $20,000 has a purchasing power of $11,000 in 30 years. And healthcare, which is much more expensive, has a general inflation rate around 5 to 6%. That could further erode your retirement savings. Most retirement plans treat the spending number as fixed. It isn't. The number you set at 65 needs to almost double by 85 just to maintain the same lifestyle. Apply all 3 forces, and our couple is short roughly $1,400 a month on day 1, and that gap widens due to inflation every year after that. There are specific moves they can make to close it though, 3 of them actually, and they don't require saving another dollar or working another year. If you're managing a $2 to $5 million portfolio and heading into retirement, this channel is built especially for you. Hit subscribe and you'll get 1 strategy a week we use with our own clients. Now let's talk about the 3 levers. The real number isn't fixed. 3 levers move it, and each one is in your control if you act before retirement. Lever 1 is your account mix. The tax drag we just walked through applies almost entirely to traditional 401k and IRA withdrawals. Roth withdrawals carry 0 federal tax, so a couple with $1.5 million in Roth and $1.5 million in pre-tax produces a dramatically different after-tax number than the same $3 million sitting entirely in a traditional 401k. The lever here is what we call the conversion corridor, the years between when you retire and RMDs start, when your required minimum distributions kick in later on. In those years, you control your taxable income. You can move money from pre-tax to Roth at lower rates than you'd pay on your RMDs later, locking in tax-free growth for the rest of your life. Yes, you pay tax on the conversion, but for most $3 million households, the break-even point is 8 to 12 years. And the surviving spouse alone is worth doing this, because when one spouse passes, the survivor files single, and tax brackets compress fast. Roth dollars protect against that. Done well, repositioning $1 million from pretax to Roth across the corridor adds $400 to $600 a month in real spendable income for the rest of retirement without having to save another dollar. The next lever is IRMAA management. IRMAA looks back 2 years. The income on your tax return at 65, set your Medicare premium at 67. That means you can manage IRMAA the same way you manage taxes, through Roth conversion timing, brokerage account sequencing, and Social Security claiming. Stay below the $218,000 AGI threshold, which adjusts annually for inflation, and you avoid the surcharge entirely. That's $2,100 a year back in your pocket every single year from income management alone. And that leaves lever 3, which is Social Security timing. This is the lever most people get wrong, and it's the highest leverage decision in the entire plan. Here's why. Social Security is the only inflation-protected guaranteed income stream most retirees have. Every year you delay claiming past full retirement age, your benefit grows at 8%. That's guaranteed before inflation adjustments on top. There is no investment in your portfolio that pays a guaranteed 8% real return. None. For our couple, claiming at 70 instead of 67 increases their combined benefit by roughly $25,000 a year for life, indexed to inflation. That extra $25,000 means they can withdraw $25,000 less from the portfolio. Their effective withdrawal rate drops from 4% to roughly 3%. Their portfolio lasts longer, the tax bill drops, and IRMAA becomes easier to manage. The catch is, though, you have to fund the gap years. For them, this is ages 67 to 70, and they require either pension income, brokerage withdrawals, or strategic IRA distributions, which is exactly why these 3 levers don't work in isolation. They work as one big system. Apply them together, and our couple closes that $1,400 monthly gap from the same $3 million portfolio with the same lifestyle and no additional saving required. The difference between those 2 outcomes isn't investment returns, it's planning, specifically the 3 decisions made in the years before retirement that determine what $3 million actually produces. Let's circle back to our couple. They still need $20,000 a month after tax to live. They have a $5,000 monthly pension, $3 million in assets, $2 million of which is in traditional IRAs, $1 million of which is in brokerage. The brokerage has $600,000 in basis and $400,000 in unrealized gains. So any withdrawal is roughly 40% taxable as long-term capital gains. And at full retirement age, Social Security pays them $7,000 a month combined. Here's the plan we'd build for them. Step 1, make sure we cover their spending. Their pension covers $60,000 a year. They need another $180,000. We pull that from the brokerage, not from the IRA. That $180,000 brokerage withdrawal is mostly return of basis, only $72,000, and that's what's going to count as taxable gains. Their spending need is now covered. So step 2 now is to calculate the runway to IRMAA. The IRMAA threshold for 2026 is $218,000 of AGI. So far, this couple has $60,000 of pension income and $72,000 of taxable capital gains. That's $132,000 of AGI. They have $86,000 of room before they trip Medicare surcharges. So step 3 would be to fill the 12% bracket with Roth conversions. This is where the real planning happens. We convert $70,000 from traditional IRA to Roth, just enough to fill the 12% federal bracket and not a dollar more. That brings their AGI to $202,000, leaving a $16,000 cushion below IRMAA in case anything shifts during the year. Here's what they pay in tax on all of this. Ordinary income tax on the pension and the conversion is about $11,000. Capital gains tax on the $72,000 of gains at the 15% rate, that's another $10,800. Total federal tax in this instance is roughly $22,000 on $240,000 of spending and a $70,000 Roth conversion, which is an effective rate around 7%. That's it. They've covered every dollar of spending, paid Medicare's minimum premium, and converted $70,000 to tax-free Roth dollars in a single year. Now repeat that strategy every year between 67 and 70, and over 4 years they convert roughly $280,000 from pretax to Roth at a blended cost in the low teens. That's the corridor working as designed. So what about Social Security? In this instance, we delay it until 70 for 3 reasons. First, every year they wait, their benefit grows 8%, guaranteed before inflation adjustments on top. There's no other guaranteed 8% return in their plan. Second, claiming early would shrink the corridor. Once Social Security turns on, 85% of it counts as taxable income for them, which crowds out conversion space. Third, and most important, the higher Social Security benefit at 70 means they can withdraw less from their portfolio for the rest of their lives. That's lower future RMDs, lower future taxes, and lower IRMAA exposure once they're in their 70s. Why this matters at age 70 and beyond is because at 70, Social Security turns on at the boosted amount, roughly $104,000 a year combined. They still need $240,000 to spend, so they pull about $76,000 from the IRA. Without the prior Roth conversions, their RMDs at 73 would force much higher withdrawals, pushing them solidly into IRMAA territory and triggering higher Medicare premiums for the rest of their life. The 4 years of corridor planning we just walked through are what protects them from the next 20. That is what tax-efficient retirement planning actually looks like. Just a sequenced set of decisions made in the right order in the right years. What we just walked through isn't theoretical. It's the same framework we use with our own clients in the $2 to $5 million range every single year. And notice what it didn't require. No new products, no exotic investments, no market timing, just a sequenced set of decisions made in the right years. The 4 to 7 years before and just after retirement when you actually have control over your taxable income. That window matters because once you hit 73 or 75 and RMDs start, your options collapse. The IRS dictates how much you withdraw, your tax bracket gets fixed, and your IRMAA exposure becomes structural. Every year before that is a year you can shape the next 30. There's more we didn't cover today. Things like direct indexing to harvest losses against your conversion income, municipal bonds to keep portfolio income off your AGI, and charitable strategies of giving as part of your plan. Each of those layer on top what we just walked through and adds another $5,000 to $20,000 a year of efficiency for the right household. We'll get to those in future videos. 2 ways to take action from here. If you're inside 10 years to retirement with $2 to $5 million in assets and you want to know what your real after-tax number looks like, not the gross number, there's a link in the description to get on my team's calendar. We'll run the actual math on your situation. If we're a fit, we'll talk about working together. If not, you'll leave the call with a clearer picture than you walked in with. If you're not ready for that conversation, take our 3-minute retirement readiness quiz. The link is in the description. It'll show you which of these 3 levers you have the most room to move on and what to focus on first. The difference between a $3 million retirement that lasts and one that doesn't isn't returns. It's the decisions you make in the years before you stop working. I'll see you in the next video.